An adapted reading from Matthew 27, Luke 23, John 19, and Acts 2. Then the soldiers took Jesus, and they gathered the whole battalion before him. They stripped him and spat upon him, and took their batons and struck him on the head, and there followed him a great multitude of people.
Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord?
And when they had mocked him and falsely accused him, and brought up that one time he allegedly shoplifted in high school, they led him to be crucified. The police chief wrote a sign and put it on the cross. It read, "I can't breathe." And the women were there, because the women are always there. And when the soldiers had lynched him, they stood tall and kept watch behind their riot shields. Were you there when they kneeled on my Lord's neck?
Were you there when they kneeled on my Lord's neck? Oh, sometimes it causes me to cry out, cry out, cry out. Were you there when they crucified my Lord?
Now there was darkness over all the land when Jesus called for his mother, when Martha hit record with trembling hands, and behold, the curtain of the temple was torn in two, and the earth shook, and the canisters exploded at point-blank range, and the rocks were split. And when the centurion saw what had taken place, he said, "Certainly this man was innocent." Were you there when they shot my Lord 8 times?
Were you there when they shot my Lord 8 times? Oh, sometimes it causes me to fight back, fight back, fight back. Were you there when they crucified my Lord?
And all the multitudes who assembled, when they saw what had taken place, returned home beating their breasts. And Mary Magdalene grabbed her megaphone as Joseph set up the medic tent, and Simon of Cyrene opened his home on Swan Street. And did you notice how the cameras only showed when Jesus flipped the tables, but not when he fed the children? In the earthquake, the tombs also were opened, and many bodies of the saints were raised. And Emmett Till went into the holy city, and Trayvon Martin appeared to many. Were you there when they called my Lord a thug?
Were you there when they called my Lord a thug? Oh, sometimes it causes me to mourn him, mourn her, mourn them. Were you there when they crucified my Lord?
I don't know what you have to do for people to think you're drunk at 9 in the morning, but I know whatever it was couldn't have you peaceful. And I don't know what you have to do for the whole battalion to show up to a crucifixion, but I know Mary of Bethany came with a backpack full of milk and water and her sister's phone number written on her arm, and she screamed through her N95 mask, "Christ healed the sick, and this is ministry." Christ threw a brick in 1969, and this is ministry. But did you hear? They say Jesus had talked about destroying the temple. Did you hear? They say how the officer feared for his life. Were you there when the jury let him go?
Were you there when the jury let him go? Oh, sometimes it causes me to protest, protest, protest. Were you there when they crucified my Lord?
When the day of Pentecost came, they were all together in one place. Suddenly, a sound like the blowing of a violent wind came from heaven and filled every street. And they saw what seemed to be tongues of fire, melting every last rubber bullet. And all of them were filled with the Holy Spirit. And they began to speak. And they began to speak in every language. And they began to speak on every phone screen. And they had been speaking this whole time. And they would not be silenced. And they would not be silenced.
Were you there when they crucified my